So now that we have a basic overview of what public speaking is, we have to learn how to develop our topics when we are writing our outlines so that we have a strong foundation for actually delivering our speeches. A lot of times people think they can go up on stage and kind of free fall with their speeches, and that's called an impromptu speech, and that's okay. But in most cases, you want to have something prepared when you are giving your speech. And the way to prepare to do your speech is by finding a topic that really fits you, your audience, and the occasion. So you want a topic that you know stuff about. You don't want to go and talk about things that are irrelevant to you and that you're not passionate about because you won't deliver a great speech on them. And that's relevant to your audience because if you are going to speak about something, you also need to analyze the audience. Make sure that what you're talking about is something that they need to hear because you can't influence someone if you don't have at least a little bit of a description of what it is that they want. Why did these people come here? And you're there to give them what they came for. And the occasion. So the occasion basically, is this a toast? Is this a wedding? Am I giving a speech at a commencement address? Am I giving a speech in front of a classroom? Like, so does it fit the occasion? So when you're writing your outline, there are a couple of things that need to go into your introduction. So your first portion is your attention getter. And we're not talking about the attention getter right now, but that's going to be the first thing. And that's your story, your startling statistic, something that draws me in. But the next thing is you're going to write your general purpose. And your general purpose is to either persuade, to inform, or entertain. So you can say to persuade the audience to blah, to inform the audience about blah, to entertain the audience about whatever. Or you can just say to persuade. So when you're writing this out, general purpose equals one of these things: to persuade, to inform, or to entertain. And then your next goal is to formulate your specific purpose statement, meaning what exactly am I going to be talking about? So your specific purpose statement is like your thesis. So if you're giving a speech in an English or you're doing an English class or something like that, you're probably writing what's called a thesis statement if you're doing an essay. So the specific purpose statement is the goal of what you want to achieve with the speech. So pretty much you're going to be outlining to us in a couple of sentences or one really good sentence what this speech is going to be about, and it kind of gives me the flow of what's going to be happening in the speech. It's like I call it the umbrella statement. So when I hear this statement, I know exactly what everything you talk about is going to be. So your specific purpose statement includes the kind of speech, to whom it is addressing, and the goal to be achieved. For example, my goal: I am here to inform my classmates on 4 steps of making pottery. So I know as your classmate that the only thing you're going to be talking about is how you're informing me, your classmate, of these 4 steps to making pottery. Now I know exactly what I'm in for when you give your speech. So a good specific purpose statement helps to generate the main points for that speech, meaning you're going to have 3 main points. So every speech that you give in this class, which will be your informative speech and your persuasive speech, your first speech, your introduction speech won't need this, but you're going to come up with 3 main points. So your specific purpose statement should help you with what those main points are going to be. So that brings us to your central idea statement. So in formulating your central idea statement, it's summarizing in one sentence or a couple of sentences. I prefer you give one sentence for each main point, but normally it's just one sentence and it just discusses what the actual main points are. So if I'm talking about pottery, my 3 main points will be how to make pottery, defining the history of pottery, and the last main point is how to actively get started in pottery or something of that nature. So those are my 3 main points, and those 3 main points will be the central idea statement. Now I'm saying 3 main points because that's what is relative to this class, but your central idea statement has to match whatever class you're taking. So for example, if you have to do a speech in another class and they only want 2 main points, then your central idea statement will summarize the 2 main points or 3 main points or 4 main points. So your central idea statement it equals your theses and your preview statement. So it's kind of like a mix of your specific purpose statement and adding the adding the main points and your preview statements. So here's a quick example of what your outline should look like. So when you're writing your outline, when I ask you to write your introduction, the first thing, like I said, it's going to be your attention getter. And then your next thing is going to be your general purpose. It should say to inform, period, to persuade, period, to entertain, period. Then your specific purpose would be to inform my classmates on the three major races in alpine skiing, meaning now I know as your classmate that we're going to be talking about the three major races. And then my central idea statement is to talk about those three things. The three major races in alpine skiing are the downhill, that's my first main point, the saloon, that's my second main point, and the giant saloon, that's my third main point. Because now I can outline what I'm getting ready to say. So after I have written my central idea statement, now I'm going to start my body, which we're not getting into just yet. But when I start my body, the first heading is the first main point, which is the downhill. So everything under that main point is going to be talking about the downhill. And then my second main point is going to be the saloon, and so on and so forth. Now there will be things that happen in between there. I'm going to give you a clear cut outline example so you know exactly what's going on. But for this chapter, I just wanted to show you all what you are going to be doing when it comes to outlining your topic. So you're going to want to have a topic that fits you, the audience, and the occasion. And then you're going to want to make sure that you have some specific things going on. You know your general purpose. You know how to write your specific purpose statement and your central idea statements. So that's it for this chapter. Please use this PowerPoint and this lecture to go ahead into your test for Sunday and complete the rest of the work for this week.